Thank you so much for staying with us. While the Ekiti elections are still going on, by the way, if you have not decided to go vote, now is the time.
If you are in Ekiti.
Yes, if you are in Ekiti, because you are not just voting for now, you are voting
for the future.
For the future.
At least the next 4 years future.
And talking about future, I saw a video shortly. There's this guy on socials who makes videos who makes short interviews with billionaires all over the world. And he had one with Alhaji Aliko Dangote. And so the guy was asking him, what's the motivation for what he does? Oh, I've done this, I've done that, I've done this, I've done that. But what's the motivation for what you're doing? He said his motivation is legacy. That he's gone beyond doing business for money. It's now for legacy. I don't know whether it's that kind of legacy that the Meristem team wants to talk about this morning. But
yeah, but his legacy. You know what he has done with his daughters now? Yes.
He's not the one. He's not the subject matter.
I'm just saying legacy. It's part of the legacy. Beyond just being a father, but ensuring that, this fatherhood is beyond
this man says he's doing business for legacy. I say
but the legacy is there now. We can see what he's doing.
As we were saying. Well, we have two people from Meristem Trustees Limited here with us. Benjamin Amans is the Chief Operating Officer. He's here with us in the studio. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
As well as Vivian Bogu, who is Head Corporate Trust, Meristem Trustees Limited. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. Good morning.
Well, since you are talking about beyond fatherhood, beyond being a father, let's start from the man. Okay. What's this about?
Thank you very much for that question. Fatherhood, we would like to think most times, for most men, is the ability to conceive and raise children. However, I think that the key question here is answering a question that life would answer for you if you fail to respond to. What would happen to my children in my absence? So legacy for me as a father would be my child being able to go to the schools that I would have envisaged him to attend, getting the training, getting the values, getting the cultural shaping that I would have intended him to have during my lifetime. So legacy is, in my absence, what outlives me? How does my love outlive me to result in an individual children that can speak to my contribution?
Okay, let me ask you, it's a secret. Is he here today because tomorrow is Father's Day?
So it was an intentional coincidence.
Oh, that is no longer a coincidence. That is a planned incident. Okay.
Yes.
Go on.
So in line with our sentimental Father's Day is to people, we decided to use this opportunity to educate the public. So beyond the responsibilities fathers have towards their children's upbringing, they also need to think beyond today. They need to start thinking about tomorrow, thinking about securing their children's education, thinking about securing their dependents' welfare. So beyond taking them for lunch today, you also want to ensure that tomorrow in your absence, they are actually able to continue with that style of living that they started with whilst you were still alive. So that's the whole idea behind us being here today. And also beyond securing their future, you also want to equip them with certain family values. You want to pass across certain legacies to ensure that even after this lifetime, the values you've instilled in them continues in your absence.
Right. And there are circumstances where men work tirelessly to secure the future of the children, dependents. Sometimes it's not just your biological children that you cater to, and then they do all that work and all that planning, and then when they're incapacitated, everything falls apart what is missing? What have they failed to do in this circumstance?
Thank you, Joke. So most times people think, let me focus on building wealth today. Let me focus on accumulating wealth today. Let me ensure that I seize opportunities. When there's an investment opportunity, people want to up on it. When there's an opportunity to purchase a property, people want to immediately seize the opportunity to buy such properties, but they forget the fact that beyond today, they need to put plans in place to ensure that these assets that they're accumulating don't get into the wrong hands in the event of incapacitation, like you just mentioned. So what is missing is plan. People forget to plan. They forget to plan beyond today. So they need to put a well-structured plan in place that would ensure that these assets don't get into the wrong hands and get to the people who they want to intentionally ensure they get to. And the plan also includes ensuring that it doesn't cause issues in the family, even in their absence. We've heard of stories where people are fighting over their deceased loved ones' properties because the person did not put a plan in place. Even with as simple as a will, you're dictating how you want your assets distributed. But it clearly stated, whether or not it is contested, at least your intentions are clearly documented and spelled out that this is what daddy wanted, this is what grandpa wanted, and they would respect your wishes. So that desire is clearly documented. So what is missing is the plan. People forget to plan, and then there are times that people lose sight of their plans. So in the immediate, the conversation is still fresh in mind. They think, oh yes, what Meristem Trustees is talking about is actually very, very educative. Let me put something in place. And then after an hour after this session, they're like, they go back to their normal daily activities. They forget to put it into action. So planning and putting it into action is what is missing.
Okay, I'm going to assume that they will get a number they can call now so that you don't forget.
Oh, yes.
Just as you've said. But before, Mr. Amans, you know that we don't usually get Father's Day more than once. And it's a treasured one. In fact, there's this comedian, Ali Siddiq or something. He says that sometimes Father's Day is synonymous with World Toilet Day as well. I don't know why you put those two together. But let me ask you this. For those who want to consider this, so let's milk this Father's Day as much as we can before they have 2 or 3 Mother's Days in 1 year. Let's talk for those who are thinking of building this legacy. What are the practical steps that you think they can exploit as we celebrate Father's Day beyond fatherhood, and how can Meristem Trustees Limited help in that regard?
Thanks for that question. And yes, so a father listening to this, number one is to outline your objectives. Sit down and envisage the future you want for your child, right? You're tirelessly working, just like the question Joke sets forth. You're tirelessly working at accumulating wealth. How do you intend to pass this on to the next generation, to your dependents? How do you intend to ensure that things are put in place to sustain the education, the lifestyle, healthcare of the children, right? So outline these objectives. Because they are very integral to putting in place the appropriate estate plan that is applicable to you. So what do I want to achieve, right? Be honest. Number 2 would be identify potential problem areas. Be honest with your situation. You have a polygamous arrangement. You have conflicts within the family. You have conflicting interests between wives, between children. You have potential disputes from extended family members who may want to scrabble over your assets in your absence. You have creditors. You own a business and you've heavily leveraged business, so you have potential creditors. These are all potential problem areas that you need to outline because, again, integral to conversations with a trusted fiduciary party. Finally, start that conversation with a trusted fiduciary party. How would Meristem help to achieve your objectives? Of course, like you rightly said, we are easy to access via our email, right? trustees@meristem.com. Have a conversation with us outlining this, and would appropriately set out the tool that is applicable to your peculiar circumstance. For some fathers, we find that at the end of the day, what you just need to put in place may be a will. Depending on your circumstance, it may be a trust or a hybrid of both a will and a trust. Yeah. So
it's very easy to say plan. You agree with me, right? It's very easy to say plan. Some people have no idea what's first step to take. And please don't tell me call Meristem. Because the first, you're likely to tell the fellow, first of all, call. When you come, you now start asking the fellow, but he has no idea. So what are the considerations? Because when you say people should outline this, outline that, they remember how their fathers and mothers raised them. There's no mother or father ever sat them down to be asking them some questions. So what are the important considerations, the most basic, that the fellow should be thinking about right now?
So the most basic and easily relatable is what the individual family situation is. What are your family dynamics? Do you have a simple family, just yourself, your wife, and 2 or 3 kids? Or do you have a complex family where it's your nuclear family and then you have extended family who, even during your lifetime, are making trouble? So those are things that people need to sit back to think about. You also need to go back to whatever portfolio you use or whatever instruments you use in monitoring your investments. You need to go back to it to see what you've accumulated over the years, where you have legal interest, you have business interest. You need to look at your finances to see, oh, this is what I have. In the event I'm no more here, who will be able to access it, and how would I ensure that it is easily accessible to them? So those are the thoughts they should have after this session before reaching out to us at Meristem Trustees Limited. Yes, so those are the conversations they should be having with themselves. Some of them should also consider having these conversations with their wives. So we've found out with our experience that people shy away from having these conversations because they think it's a death sentence. It's not necessarily a death sentence. Having this conversation is just you trying to plan ahead. It doesn't mean that if you put a will in place today, you're dying tomorrow. My oldest client is in his 90s and he's still very, very active. My first boss had a will in place when she was 25 and she's now in her 60s. So it's not a death sentence, it's a conversation we should have.
We're talking about Father's Day.
Okay.
And she's saying, talk to mommy.
Obviously, because mommy will help you plan.
Exactly.
I don't understand.
I think we're used to the
You can't make
monopoly.
the decision alone.
But let me come in here.
Well, I decided to marry her.
When you were talking the other time, you spoke about, what was it that you were saying about how you put everything in place such that because you envisage problems with extended family, people who are going to squabble over assets and all that. By the time you're putting, and of course the creditors that will come calling at some point if they do, when you put like trust in place, for the children, some people do life insurance and all that, and then they put their children there as the beneficiaries just in case anything happens. Is any of those things eroded by the other? For instance, if the father dies and he has trust for the children, he has a will in place for this, and then the creditors come calling, are they able to just erode some of those things that are in place for other people just to get what accrues to them?
Okay, fantastic question.
Yeah.
So simply put, estate planning, right, addresses 3 key issues: who gets what, how, and when. Now, for a trust arrangement, it addresses the issue of access to the assets by creditors. So a trust essentially ring fences the assets that have been vested in the trust. So it means that it ensures, number one, it's a private arrangement. It means that creditors is a private arrangement. Number two, the assets are legally passed on to the trustee. So ownership changes from the father who has instituted the trust and the trustee who is holding the trust in the assets in trust on behalf of the beneficiaries. So that circumvents access, even knowledge, by creditors or individuals who have the likelihood of instituting disputes, right? So that takes care of that. In hybrid circumstances where a will is required, there are certain assets that can't be vested in a trust. So your retirement savings, benefits, your pensions, those are assets that cannot be vested in trust. And we speak to that by use of what we call a pour-over will. So for those assets that can't be vested in the trust, a pour-over will is the tool with which they can be poured over, so to speak, saying that, okay, these assets, the proceeds, cash balances, flow into the trust upon my demise, right? So that sort of takes care of issues of creditors, right? Once the assets have been invested in another party, say Meristem Trustees, no creditor is coming to the... There's really nothing to go after once those assets are vested in the trustee. So that secures the interests of the survivors.
Yeah, that's great.
So how then does because the beneficiaries may be aware of the debt, so is there any chance that those creditors, what do you call it, will come after the beneficiaries?
Yeah.
So again, the beautiful thing with a trust structure is a well thought out structure, right? Even a will. Now, both documents or both instruments can expressly delineate the wishes of the father that is putting whichever estate planning product in place. Now, except you're an unscrupulous individual, the appropriate thing to do as a responsible father would be to have provisions with respect to treatment of debt that you've undertaken. Okay. So the assets, of course, the assets are ring-fenced for the purpose of protecting from the likelihood of disputes, litigation. However, you are making it's easy to make provisions in the trust deed or in the will with respect to how creditors can be treated. So funds from if it's a trust that's been put in place, funds from the trust account can be used to pay off the creditors. Again, taking off any pressure or burden from the beneficiaries. If it's a will, you can state, I wish that such and such bank of such and such financier be paid off with the funds in ABC bank accounts. So those documents can speak to how you treat your credit.
And Vivian, if I could come in here, the common belief amongst Nigerians, old money trusts, billionaires are the only ones that can, put those things in place. You just mentioned earlier that, someone had a will as early as age 25. Does it matter that, do you have to be a billionaire to do these things? How easy is it for regular families, middle-class people, even people from lower to middle class to actually put in these things without, some of them say their salaries and whatever is hardly enough for them to live. So how can they afford, to set up these future plans? Let me put it that way.
Thank you very much, Joke. So I believe it's a misconception when people say only the wealthy can put a plan in place or leave a legacy behind. So over the years as trustees, we've identified different estate planning tools that clients can adopt. So depending on what category you fall under, you can decide to go with a trust arrangement, you can decide to go with a will. So we render services to ultra high net worth, affluent clients, and those who are still just starting life, for a lack of better word, working professionals, those who are salary earners. So with as little as the little thousands you have in your bank account, or the little thousands or millions that you're saving in your retirement savings account, it is enough for you to put a plan in place. So this is why we have what is known as a simple will service. A simple simple will service is targeted at the lower class, middle class individuals who do not have all of the billions in the world, or all of the millions in the world, but you have something in your bank account, and you know that should anything happen to you tomorrow, there's someone who depends on you who can actually benefit from it. So why not put a will in place? Our comprehensive will service also is targeted at these individuals. You have a car that you know that your child would require to go to school. Why not put it in a will? You have a bank account that has a little money inside, a little savings. Why not put it in your will? Your mutual funds, your investments, your even if it's just one plot of land, you can put it in a will. So you don't need to be a Dangote or an Otedola before you consider putting an estate plan in place. And then with time, it's also not a rigid structure or a rigid plan. With time, you can update as your life changes. So as you're moving higher in life from lower class to middle class, and you get to that Otedola level, you can update whatever it is.
Yeah.
You can update whatever plan you have in place to ensure that you secure the assets you've now accumulated from between the last time you started and where you are at the moment. So there's something for everyone. There's something for everyone.
You are not head of corporate for now.
But let me just sink this one in too. Some people, maybe you realize, when is it too late to realize? For instance, a lot of people, maybe in the corporate world, you retire maybe at the age of, what is it now?
60?
Is it 60?
Yeah.
And maybe you're 50 plus and say, oh, I've not put this in place. I don't have much work life in that sense left, where you have regular salary coming in. How much can you do in like maybe the 6-7 years left of your regular working life, when you will now probably be dependent on all the money you've saved to be living the rest of your life?
Yeah, so at the same time, whilst you are living, you're trying to put a legacy in place for your dependents or your loved ones. You're also putting plans in place to take care of your own self. So putting a trust in place doesn't necessarily mean that it's just for your children or your grandchildren.
Right.
You can also be beneficiary to that trust arrangement.
Okay.
So most times in practice, you'll find out that the people setting up the trust are the primary beneficiaries.
Right.
And then the only time their dependents come into the picture to benefit is in the event of their incapacitation or demise. So those are categorized as secondary beneficiaries.
Right.
So as much as possible, start early, but it doesn't matter where you are in life at the moment. You can always start at whatever point. Right. And again, remember, it is wealth you've accumulated. So whilst the wealth you're building at the moment are in your name, you can transfer them into whatever structure you decide to go with at the end of the day.
Right. I'm thinking, I know you want to ask a question. I'm just thinking.
No, go ahead.
If I say, we're talking about fathers, your fatherhood.
Please say that again.
Isn't this not even putting pressure on the father in this conversation? Is it not putting pressure of planning, doing that? It's supposed to be a fun time, relaxation. I mean,
there are no holidays.
No.
On Father's Day,
oh, come on.
you are the father. You are the one that is going to take them out. You are the one that is going to pick.
Not all the time.
You pay for your surprises. I mean,
you can
they
put
plan a surprise party for you.
So
you
pay.
financially.
So you can put the
the
Father's Day celebration fund in trust so that you can access it. It won't be a burden.
Thank you for that.
Put it in trust.
These are the people that rig
Mind blown.
Put it in trust.
That rig elections.
In 1 year, you want to access that fund to celebrate Father's Day.
Thank you for that.
Really
idea.
simple. It's simple.
Right?
Wow. Mind blowing, right? He's speechless, honestly.
Fathers don't take any breaks, right?
And mothers too.
like he rightly said, there are no holidays for
Yeah.
fathers. But then we'll still pay for the trust, in spite of the fact that it's designated Father's Day funds.
I don't understand. They plan a surprise party for you, you pay.
Okay, how about this? How about Meristem Trustees gives a discount to all fathers who come to us for their estate planning objectives?
Please write that down. Write it down. Write it down.
50%? Yeah, you haven't told us. You have only given us an email address. Is that the only way that
so our email address is trustees@meristemng.com. The number, we have a dedicated phone number as well, but I don't want to mix it up.
Okay.
But for now, people can focus on trustees@meristemng.com.
Or we can send email from our phone. Are you on socials?
Yes, we are. We are on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we are on LinkedIn as Meristem NG. So you can just Google Meristem NG or Meristem Securities.
Okay, you have said that a father can start planning at practically any time. And she has also asked you the question about the billionaires and all of that. Perhaps a thing to consider now, Mr. Amanis. She talked about estate. By the way, I should correct that. When people hear estate,
they think of buildings.
Real estate.
They think of buildings. Yes.
The estate they are living in.
No.
So please describe your estate first.
Your estate is everything you own. So your estate comprises of your bank accounts, your investments in mutual funds, your investments in Nigeria Treasury bills, commercial papers, your real estate investments, your antiques, your artworks, whatever it is that you hold there, that you have legal interest in, consists of your estate. So everything you hold there that you also have sentimental value towards is your estate.
Including your phone.
Including your phone. Oh yes, including your phone.
You put your phone on.
Oh, you can put your phone in your wheel.
You buy a phone today as a man. The inheritor is next door. It's just right.
Next door. Next door is too much of a barrier.
Next pillow.
Thank you.
Does Meristem? How about your pension funds?
Yes.
Does Meristem also administer pension funds? Are you in that space as well?
So I talked about the fact that just for clarity, we have various estate planning. Thank goodness she has explained what estate is. So we have estate planning tools, right, that range from trusts to wills. And I talked about certain assets that cannot be vested in a will, one of which are your retirement savings accounts, the cash balances in your retirement savings accounts, pensions. So yes, the treatment for such kind of assets is by utilizing a will, right? So yes, we make accommodation for those kind of assets using a will.
Okay. Well, there are some people who don't know how to access their retirement savings now from that PFA, So
I'm not one of them.
You are not one of them. Okay. We're glad, that you are able to make it to educate people today, because of all the fun topics that people like to talk about, death is not one of them.
Never.
No, never.
I was hosting a radio show one day, and one cleric calls in. My name is this. I want this song. It was a request song. I want this. Okay, we are still also talking about death. He said, no, I don't want to talk about it. You are a cleric. He said, please, I don't want to talk about it. So it's not a fun topic.
No.
But it's an important,
yes, it is.
Topic. Just to confirm what you said the other time. Putting up a will does not mean you die tomorrow.
No.
In fact, some people have this belief that once you hear will, hey, Jesus.
They think you're wishing them bad.
In fact,
or they think
merely putting it down, you yourself as jinx yourself.
Yeah.
That's not what the conversation is here. Thank you very much for coming here. Mr. Benjamin Amans is Chief Operating Officer, Meristem Trustees Limited. Let me be the first to wish you Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. Happy Father's Day.
Wish you.
Happy.
And Vivian Bogo is Head Corporate Trust, Meristem Trustees Limited. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you for also directing fathers to go and talk to your wife. Okay.